Yes, we're live again and again. You're on the Kodesh Gardens. You're on the homestead. Welcome again back to the channel. All praise to the Most High Yah for this day. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Where we sit back and chat here on Kodesh Live about, life happenings, living a life according to the way of the Most High Yah and doing things that our fathers have done. And we have seen them have done in the scriptures. And live a scriptural lifestyle here. Set apart life here at the Kodesh um, Gardens. Let you have a praise. We're live again here. Just want to have a quick wrap, a quick one-on-one. Is the sun is has already set, so to speak, and we are getting ready to, for the dark. So let you have a praise. We trust him and we praise him and we honor him and we glorify him. We son Yeshua Mashiach because he's the one who has given us strength and who has given us life. So I wanted to chat today roughly about off-grid living. You know, off-grid living in a nutshell. And by no sense we are no expert at it because we are learning as we're going along with this journey that he has set us on. So as you can see in the background, dogs are having fun playing. They got a big space to run up and down. So let you have a praise. This is the Kodesh Gardens where we live, where we work, where we eat, where we grow, where we praise Yah organically. We do, organic planting, organic eating, and that is our intention. It's a deliberate intention to have, as Yah leads, you know, as most of our consumption as possible to what we plant. So we are trying to eat what we grow. So it's a journey for us here on the Kodesh Gardens. So let you have a praise. So off-grid living. What is it? What is it? What is it like? How do you prepare? How do you go about it? Because I know, it's a strong echo, especially in the United States, about getting out of the city. In other places, getting out of the city, right? Go and live outside the city. And sometimes you may find some land outside the city that, you know, probably within a budget of yours, but it's probably a little bit, it's going to be a bit off grid, right? So, that being said, there are things to consider if you are considering such a lifestyle because it, it, it do have its challenges and it does have its rewards. So, like with challenges come rewards, right? So, once you set out and you are prepared for the challenges that come with it, the challenges that comes with it, then you will reap the reward that's there in harvest. Let you have a praise. There's some stuff that I had indicated, or at least certain things I've indicated in my last live, where one of my deliberate attempts was to try to one of my deliberate attempts was to try to be not dependent, especially for my water consumption. You know, especially for my water. My water. That was it was a deliberate attempt by me for not having people have a say in if I get good water or I have control over that as it leads to give us strength and we can manage our own stuff. So that was a deliberate attempt on us to get our own water supply, not being on the grid for water. Now for electricity, I think it can be, a person might want to have, the hydro, the public service company, or they might want to have solar or wind power, whichever one they might want to do if they want to go completely off grid. I mean, it is a choice up to the direction of how might best fit you and your budget and where you are and all these different jobs. Because certain places impact the type of system you can have, and you might want to choose a certain things, how it's best suits your household. But for us here, our water, it was a deliberate attempt by me to ensure that we have our water, and then by extension, we didn't want to go on the public electric system, so we choose to stay away from that as well, right? Now we are not fully 100% off grid separate from everybody, separate from the entire world, so to speak, because we do have technology here on the homestead. We have to stay in touch. We have to, as you see, this broadcast is coming live. If you ever see it, it's live, so it needs internet connectivity. So we do have access to internet and these technologies, so we are able to still maintain contact with the metropolitan regions and stuff, right? So let you have a praise. Off-grid living. It's not for everybody. Not everybody can manage it. Not everybody wants to handle it, right? But for people who are looking to live set apart to the most, yeah, some are considering it. And one of the things that I've known and I've seen is that you should have your tools. You can't be going out, leaving the city and don't have tools. Either you acquire before you leave, or while you're there you start to acquire. You have to have tools, because in many situations you won't be able to go and borrow or even rent from a close by store if you're in such a area where you can rent tools. You're not gonna be able to get all your tools. You're not gonna be able to have all your tools, like buy every single thing that you might need, but for the most part, you need you need tools for home repairs. You need tools for garden service, garden tools and home tools like screwdriver and drills and saws, electric saws and all these things. You need those things, you know, on a homestead in a half-grid living environment, because you will have to be doing a lot of chores. And it's a reality check. It's work. It's a lot of work, you know, to establish a homestead with food and garden. It's a lot of work. You know, you might be looking. Sometimes I glance myself on, even YouTube and see other people out there doing, and I see they have a lot of gardens and a lot of stuff going on. It's work to get it done. It just didn't just happen. So if you're considering such a lifestyle and living set apart, according to where the most are, yeah, and if that leads you to choose such a way of living, just know that it's work, but the reward is there and the benefit is there as well. Especially when I know you're putting on your vegetation in the ground, and it's strictly organic compost you're using to plant your food. So the natural resources, you're not eating modified food when you're planting, right? So you choose deliberate to get organic, heirloom seeds to plant. And we do mix and mingle with the outside, grocery store, because we do have to get supplies from time to time. But we are trying, and our intention is a deliberate intention to get this to that point. And we are not fully there yet. We're working on it. Let Yah be praised for his mercies, because he lives and he endures forever. And he has given us his son, Yeshua Mashiach, to guide us. So we are here, and we deliberately want to serve the Most High in this set apart. Deliberate attempt to be set apart. And one of the things that I have seen here, it is peaceful. Right now, you can hear the quiet. You can hear the night. It's getting dark now. So the day, nature has gone, and the night natures are coming out, and you can hear them in the background. And it is, you can sit and you can meditate with Abaya here. But you know, and it's peaceful. And the good thing about one thing that I enjoy about the whole off-grid lifestyle is, and especially where we are, is the Shabbat. Yeah, Shabbat. I mean, it's beautiful because it's in most cases it's peaceful. Sometimes you're in the city and you can hear a lot of different distractions around you. Right here, you can relax and you can just rest if you desire to rest. If you fellowship with brethren, you fellowship, or it's just it has that level of shalom, right? And we thank Yah for that shalomness. You know, so off good living. Is it a lifestyle that everybody might choose? No, probably not, because it is for the brave heart. To be candid, it is for the ones who are saying, "Hey, we must do something. We must make a move." because He has leading us to make a move, right? And they have been praying and they have been seeking Abaya. Um, one thing I would say, another thing I would say about off-grid living, um, you have to do your homework. You know, it's a lot of homework that will be done, but you must do your homework, right? Um, don't just look at somebody, homestead and say, hey, that looks beautiful. I'm gonna sell my house, or I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna do this and just head out. Yeah, you have to prepare a plan first. Don't just rush out, because it can be intimidating when you get there. It can be wearying when you get there. So when you have a plan and you brace for the different anomalies or the different situations that you might face on the homestead, then at least your mind is prepared. But let it not be that you just rush out to make such a move, because it can be a bit intimidating when you get out there and you see all the greenery on the trees, and you gotta, especially if you have to build, if there's no dwelling on the land and you have to put a dwelling from foundation. It can be a bit intimidating, a bit scary too. So put your plan in place, because it can be done, because we are doing it. And mark you, we had no experience getting it done. This is my first, you know, such move. It's not like it's not like I'm a builder or anything like that. So we needed to get additional resources to get this, the structure up and running and all these things. But we're working, taking our time, and we're putting things in the ground as your leads, right? So I want to talk about one of the things that it's actually, probably one of my favorite part of the homestead here on the Kodesh Garden. And um, I might, as their lead, I will give more detail about the system that I put together. And yeah, it's given me strength by, for other people who have done it before, that I've learned from, that I've seen on YouTube doing it, right? So um, I will go through in a little bit more detail, because here on the Kodesh Garden, we want to share experiences as well, and share things that we are doing, that if you're inspired and if you see it, then you might want to get things. I might say, what, I could try this, I could do this, because I'm on this path, I'm on this venture. You might already have established homestead, right? And you might see something that you might, this sound like it could fit us, or something that you might be struggling with on your homestead, and you might like, what, this could work for us as well, right? So it's for us, as your leads, to impart and to share some stuff of our journey that might be a help to somebody out there. That might be a help to somebody who's on the journey, a family who's looking to get things done. And one of the area that I respected a lot, based on how it was put together, and by no means by any professional, because I'm a novice, is our water system. No, I'm going to give you a tour of it, and I think I have a small tour, but I will go into more detail about it and let us see, because I have learned from people who have done it. I've mixed and mingled and blend some other ideas that I've seen and make one system. So this is what I will show you, you know, in detail. So if you're doing this, and rest assured, because our water, we harvest water here, we harvest the rainwater. We are not at the point yet where we can dig a well, because well is against a specific way of getting that done. So I know water is under the earth, but it's the best place to go and harness that water. But for right now, yeah, it's falling his rain, and he's our provider for water. He is our what do you call it? The city. He's our city water. So he gives us the water when in its season, when we require it. But I wanted to go through my water system that I've set up and give in a more detailed explanation of what we and what we did here. And I'll explain it right now, but in another vlog, I may not do it live, because I need to talk about it, so I may have to upload it, right? But we harvest our water from the rain, right? It's a deliberate that I put metal roofing, right? I use metal roofing on the home. I use metal roofing. And it's deliberate to use metal roofing based on the research I've done, what's best to harvest water, right? I didn't want to go into too much thing that caused a lot of toxicity and all these different things. So after research and what many people have said, seemed like the old-fashioned galvanized was the best option, right? No, what we did, what I did for a water system was after we take it off the roof, and this roof is not completely gutted as yet, because you know the main roof is not the one part of the roof is guttered, but the other side is not guttered. So we are not harvesting all the water as yet, because I don't think we have the capacity to the amount of rainfall we get. I'm not sure if we don't have the capacity as yet to hold all that water. So we haven't set up yet. Not because I don't want to, but just I haven't gotten around to get the parts and get the gutters and stuff. And it's a high roof, right? It's really a high roof. And I mean, I will need some assistance or something from one of my guys to assist me with that, you know, to get some of it up. I might be able to manage one side, a couple sides myself, but like for the one on the side and the rear, it's going to be quite a bit of height. And I may not be able to accomplish it all by myself. So I may need some assistance there. But after we take the water off the roof, we take it down into the PVC pipe. And one system that I've seen on the internet, YouTube, and kudos to my guy who I've seen in one of those desert making and stuff. And I looked what he was doing and I saw what he did and I tried to replicate some of what he did, right? So the system that we use is, it's called a wet pipe system, a wet pipe. So generally, I'll show you in more details when the time come. But generally, when the water come off the roof, it comes down to the ground and then run along the ground and go back up into the tank. So it doesn't go straight off the roof, straight directly into the tank in one open flow. It has to go through that cycle. And the reason for that, why I like that method is it stores water inside. So it kind of keep traps and keep stuff out from getting into your tank when the rain is not falling. So water is always into that pipe, right? And also when the rain is start to fall again, now then you have the option to release that water to that older water to wash out, and then you connect back your plug and let it refill again. So I like that wet pipe system that guy did, and I saw, and it was very interesting. So I did that part of the system, right? Then what happens when the water gets to the storage tank? When the water gets to the storage tank, then it fills it in the it can fill it, go into the first tank and then it goes to the second storage tank and it can go into third, and it can fill simultaneously or one to the other or whatever, right? So it's interconnected in such a way. But the neatest part of what I enjoy most about our system is the way our water runs. It's an automated system, right? And not only it's automated, um, it runs constant pressure because the tanks are below the house at a lower point at the house. The storage containers are at a lower point below the house. It's not on the roof. It's not on the level. It's below at a lower level. And what I like about it is the fact that it's is the fact that it's automated and you're maintaining constant pressure whenever someone is using the water, a shower, especially when you're taking showers. You like to have constant water pressure. And I've done a bit of research on what to do. How am I going to do this? Right? Made several designs and erased them. Right? And because I've noticed a lot of people when it comes to off grid or well water or surface storage water tanks, right? They use in my system we have a pressure tank, right? But they use a pressure tank and a well pump, right? We also have a pump, an electrical pump, right? You could have solar water pump, right? Or DC water pump, right? But we have an AC electrical water pump. And you know, and I was looking at it, and you know, but one of the vast difference that we do, and other people have done it as well, because I've seen them do it, why we're able to replicate, not reinventing the wheel, is to maintain constant pressure. Because what you'll find is, if you only have a pressure tank and the pump, whenever the pressure tank capacity, because it stores water in the pressure tank, whenever the pressure tank capacity goes and falls below that pressure that is set, and you're using like a shower and it runs out that water out of the tank, then the pump kicks in when it reaches a certain pressure, right? And refill the tank, and you start to use the tank again, and you continue that cycle on and off, on and off. So I was trying to say I didn't want to do this. I was doing some research on what best to do, and I saw some options when I was looking at other people what they're doing, and there was a very unique part of our system which is called the cycle stop valve. It's called a cycle stop valve. And the beautiful thing about it, there was a bit like, does this really work based on what they say it's supposed to do? So what happened is, when you use a cycle stop valve, that's a part of our system here. Whenever you turn on a tap, like say a shower, and that pressure tank falls below the pressure that is set, normally about 30 psi or 20 psi, 25, 30 psi, right? And once it falls and the pump kicks in, whenever it starts to refill the tank, the pump holds and stays as long as you're continuing, and it keeps on pushing that constant water pressure through your faucet, right? And the only time that pressures the tank and the pump is off is um, when all the taps are turned off. And what the beautiful thing about that is, whenever if you're ever on a pumps and a pressure tank system alone, you'll notice that when you're in the shower and the pressure goes down and the water start to go to a gibber, it start the pressure very soft and weak, and you can't take a proper shower. Now this equipment, this piece of equipment that we bought and put it on our water system, resolve all of that. And you can notice when you're taking a shower and you use the water in the pressure tank, and you can see it dip a little bit. The water pressure drops a little bit, but because of the quick action of the pump, it comes right back up in a matter of seconds, right? Less than a second or so. You see, it comes right back up because it comes kicking inside to push water, right? Pretty quickly back into your faucet. So it works good, and I really appreciate um, people who have done it before us, and I'm able to copy and replicate some of the stuff them that they have done, right? Um, so yeah, we're able to do that, and I'll give a tour of it in special detail. So if anybody is considering such a water system, you know, I mean, to be candid, the parts and the cost of these things, you know, um, does have a little bit of cost to it, right? It does have a little bit of cost to it, you know. And I'm actually have a studio light here. I didn't know it was like this, but there's a studio light here. I can put it on. So yeah, so that's the thing about it, is the cost for it, right? There's a cost for it, and the cycle stop valve that we use, right? Well, I ship it out of the US, and it's a pretty decent piece of equipment to add, and I would encourage it, to add it. So after we are using the water coming, so let me walk you through now after talking about that. The the water comes after the water leaves the storage tank. It comes into an initial filter, and I use a spin down filter to just take off the sediment and an extra. It's a 50 mesh, I think I have there. Filter, that initial filter, before it goes to the pump, right? And then it goes to the pump, right? input in the pump. And then from the pump, between the pump and the pressure tank, then there is the cycle stop valve, right? And then after there's the pressure tank, and then there are the filters, the water filters. I use some big 20-inch, 20-inch water filters there. So I have 3 set of filters set up so we can filter water and get it to a certain condition, right? So, for our use here on the homestead. So that is, and then it goes back to the house after the 3 filters, right? And so that like 5 microns and 1 micron filter, to take it back. With that carbon filter as well, that 5 micron, 1 micron. So can make it best and safe as possible for your homestead and for what here. So, what is it's a joy to have that part of um the homestead setup, and of course our electricity we maintain separation from it as well for that. So let you be praised. Let you be praised that we are at a point where we can share what we have done. So living, you know, and I'm talking about today, living off grid. Um, it takes the effort, you know, and if and that's why I mentioned brotherhood, because you know each one help one, and it's if brethren could be close by, have a good buddy that he's you know I'm here in the islands, but he's in North America, and it would be such a if he was close by, then we would be doing stuff together and getting stuff done, but he's not here, and it would be good when brethren can get together and help each other out and get to a point where they want to get, so people have the same vision, mindset to serve Abaya and to build and to grow food and to live some part organic. So off grid living, I wanted to chat about that today, about water system. Um, it was deliberate for us to stay away from the public system. So, because of all what is going on, the world people control the water. Yeah. Of all that is going on, I don't want to be able to come under what is going on. People get wild and wicked, because I guess I'm just trying to be careful of nothing when it comes to water, right? So let's have a praise. It has been a blessing. It has been a blessing to be able to make this journey. And while there's still a lot of work to be done, right? And things that we might could have done different, things that we need to do different to move forward. Um, we just appreciate most that for what we appreciate most that give us the strength to do what we do. Giving us the strength to be here. There's some mosquitoes up here. And that's one thing that on the homestead here in the tropics. When you're in the tropics, expect things like mosquitoes. Uh, Here in the Kodesh Garden homestead, fortunately, I've seen worse. We have other places we have been here and there. What we try to do, because this is basically a virgin land, um, we try to ensure that we control where water settles as much as we can. Down further down on the property where we it's mostly forested, there may be settlement for water, so mosquitoes are down. But here on the open homestead, while there are still a few mosquitoes, it's not by any stretch of any imagination uh, a swarm. You know, we do have to slap them from time to time, but we try to, in the most part, not allow areas to breed mosquitoes and use water that getting some getting mosquito breeds and on mosquito larvae. So you have to keep your water covered, or in areas you might throw some stuff in, or try to avoid these things. And so we try to avoid mosquito breeds inside as much as we can from the Polish garden. So let you have a praise. You know, expect what to expect on, and we're in the tropics. We are not in North America. right? But so we are in the tropics, we're in the Caribbean, we're on the island, and what you will see, you expect on this type of homestead here, and it's specific to us. You expect to get a lot of bugs. See different bugs, different. Sometimes we see some stuff here I never seen. Sometimes it's like, what the heck is this? Because I'm not really used to some of these bugs, but I'm getting used to them and learning to, share the habitat with them. Sometimes at night, especially the ones at night. Sometimes you see some small little critters come out, bugs come out at night, and you have never seen them before. You know, um, so these are stuff that we tend to have to learn about to cohabitate with. But I know it's not no overwhelming amount. It's not like no plague of bugs or anything like that. But you do see the different bugs they fly, and I've seen some ladybugs here. Man, these are not ladybugs. These are giant bugs. They call them ladybugs. Generally I'll see in the city where we live from, and you might see some small ladybugs. I've seen some ladybugs here. They are, you know, they are very large ladybugs, and they are good for your crops as well. You know, ladybugs, based on what I've heard, they are good for your crops. There are certain insects that are good for your crops. As some of them might be annoying as they are, but they are benefit to the ecosystem of growing food and you know getting rid of this and you know, you know pollinating. They might see the butterfly, the bee, there are wasps around and stuff, right? I mean, I'm not a favorite fan of those, but they are quite a different. That there's a plethora of organisms here that live here with us, here in the mountains of the Kodesh Garden. So it is dark now. Yeah, it's not too late, but because of the winter time in the north, then the day becomes much shorter as we get longer nights. So this is why we do have here the dark is upon us. And if you're hearing the background, you hear all the different noise of music and sung by the different night critters. We don't know what they are. We don't know what make those sounds, but we hear them, and you know, they don't affect us still. You know, sometimes it can annoy the ladies because they prefer not to have any bugs. So those are the watch dogs. A car is passing outside, so the dogs are very, very much defensive of their territory, and we like that. We like that because we want our dogs not to be friendly. We want them to be alert all the time. So we treat them that way, right? Because they're part of our system here. They're part of the group here. They're part of what we do here at the Kodesh Gardens, and you know it's a deliberate attempt again. So because where we are here in the garden, Kodesh Garden, we're not right next to the main road. We are in the farm road type of area, and so we get off the main side where we'll have more traffic and come away from in more of a farm on a farmstead type of thing, right? So that's where we basically are. So you won't see when you're here on the homestead a lot of back and forth traffic. From time to time people drive to their farm and people look at their stuff, people harvest. But for the most part, um, this is what it is here on the Kodesh God. So, I wrap it up with you guys, I wrap up on this one now. Um, it's getting dark out now, and it's getting dark out now. So, I take a wrap. I need to go actually feed those canines. Um, so take a wrap. You know, this is the Kodesh Gardens, and we thank God for this day. We thank God for His mercy. And as we look to continue to fellowship, to serve Abaya, and to do His righteous will, and to learn His way, you know, and to prepare for the tough times that we're seeing, you know, we want to encourage, you know, viewers out there. Be encouraged. You know, if you want to live and serve amongst that now. If you're in the city, be encouraged. If you're looking to leave the city, be encouraged. If you're looking to leave even the country that you're at, be encouraged that it is Yah who is leading, and you seek Yah for guidance and leadership, for Him to show you the way wherever your heart is desires to go, according to His will, right? So let your praise, you know, let your praise. It's a time now to get the hands to the wheel, get things done. It's a time now for us who are seeing the signs of the time to not to be blinded and to play as if we are not seeing it, but more or less say, this is what is happening, and let us take it on and prepare for it. That when it does fall at our footstool, right? When it does fall at our feet, we are able to be in the bosom and in the shadow of the Most High. Because they have already given us wisdom to do and to prepare. That's already given us wisdom to be able to withstand what is to come for even the time that it's going to last. You know, funny, the Gentiles are doing it. Funny when you look at these things, they're doing it very aggressive, you know. And we who are lost, we are the seeds of the Most High chosen house of Israel. Then we should start to take heed. We should start to see that there's a scarcity of food is in the grocery store. You know, for us here on the homestead, I'm an entrepreneur, so do I do things, I do business. And I can tell you from a business perspective, and that's something else we're going to talk to about again here on the Kodesh Garden about other stuff that, we do and, things that, because we are not trying to sit idle by and pretend as if, we just sit back and just, things just fall from the sky and give us. We have to get our work and work. And what we are seeing is there's shortage of food, and the prices of food are increasing and going higher and higher, and people are not getting a salary increase as a rate of inflation. And we now have to, in all regard, see the signs that are coming, recognize that there's scarcity of food and the situation is getting worse. Understanding that because these things are at our doorstep, I know I said I'll cut it short, but I guess I just have to, this part just come up. Because these things are at our doorstep, are getting close to our door. As one brother said, the wilderness is coming right back to us. So we are not prepared. That's when we have to bunker down. And we are not moving from where we are in our home. We are ready to be able to provide. We are able to eat. We have food to eat at least for a time for when things might last. So let us not kid ourselves. Let us not kid ourselves because what we see is going on. The grocery stores doesn't have all the supplies of food. I was watching a news media report. I don't know, sometimes news media brings stuff still in about this. What said that even China is encouraging all their citizens to have food reserved at their home. So let us not sit idle by and say, hey, I can go to the grocery store all the time. Because you know what is true? Some things are just getting shorter and shorter every day. That's the ones that when they're getting it, the prices are increasing and increasing. And we can't do much about increasing prices, but at least if we use, exercise the wisdom that Moses have given us to say, I have to start to keep some stuff. I have to start to prepare because, you know, Oh my, yeah. Do what you can and see the signs of the time. And don't sit back and say, I have Walmart to go to. I have Costco to go to. And then you have the grocery stores to go to. Don't sit back and say, I've always had this to go to. And then when you can't go to them, you are just stressed. That things are closing and things are not getting easier. And as a businessman myself, I recognize that it has been proven difficult to get supplies. I have a constantly thinking out of the box. What do I do? I know I've digressed a little bit from living off grid, but just the nature. This is what the Polish home is about. This is what the Polish guy is about. Natural liberty, how we live and what's impacting lives. So as a businessman, an entrepreneur, doing my own stuff, business, I rely upon supplies out of North America and supplies that come out of China. And we are facing a storm of shortage of food, a shortage of supplies. So I have to consistently try to think out of the box. So we pray and we seek the Most High for help and guidance. One thing I've seen, you know, while we have been here on this homestead and while we are trying to put things together, the cost of material and lumber has skyrocketed. I'll give you a quick example. So once you're looking to get it done, think about it, pray about it, and start making money. Don't put off what you can do today for tomorrow. Because one, the price is not going down. I'll give you a clear example. I was trying to get some stuff, material for I was getting material for my room, right? And I purchased some. Because I never need the rest until later down. And when I go to, a few months later, when I go to get those other material, the price was just that night and day after I have to die. Man, what the heck is going on? Why is that this price? So it's like, man, that's what it is. And I need this type of food. So I want this type of material for the food. So the prices have skyrocketed. So even if you're looking to build, and that's why it was encouraged, even by people that we had fellowship with before, that if two can join together to put a homestead together, do it as your lead. If three can do it, do it. Because you guys definitely, it would be a share of resources. When a person each of a dollar becomes three and it goes a long way. But that takes a little bit more deliberate action as well by people with love and action that they have for each other. So let you have a praise. I'll wrap it up. Let you have a praise. I'll see you in the next Polish Live. Talk about life and what's going down here on Polish Gardens and what impact life here and how we're trying to live different topics and different things we can look at and share with you guys some stuff that they are just and so you can be a part and you can consider you are considering you're already doing it. We might hear back from you about something you could try or we have ways on what you're doing. So let you have a praise, through Son Yeshua Mashiach, straight up, straightforward service, trying to allow him to lead us in all of things, establish all our steps. Let you have a praise. Until next time, shalom.